Minasan konnichiwa, bonjour, sani bonani, any language that you prefer. The TuxedoCast is back, and I have a very special guest today. We have got an incredible dancer and entertainer, Miss Viktoria Quinn. We have some awesome questions for her, but first of all, we have to welcome this beautiful lady, Viktoria. Please say hello to our guests.
Hello, привет and здравствуйте.
Oh, wow.
So that's Russian and Ukrainian for you in there as well.
Incredible. We have like a lot of really amazing questions for you about the very interesting job you do. And the way I came across you was your very interesting video on dispelling a lot of stripping myths and some very, very, very good advice. And as we spoke a bit earlier, you are a victim of your own creativity because there's a lot of things that you can do. And I think it's just a matter of time before your YouTube really blows up. And for our beginner strippers out there, could you please tell us, for somebody new looking to get into the sort of industry, what is like a potential good stripper to you? Like I'm sure you've developed that 1,000-yard stare where you can see people's potential almost instantly, I imagine. So what makes a brilliant beginner stripper, in your opinion?
Brilliant. I think it's important to kind of find your niche, because if you think strip club, ordinarily people would imagine women who are blonde, tall, and particular body shape, or basically look the same, which is not a preferred way to kind of have a room filled with women, because people are into different things. And that's something that I talk about in my video, because I've had people get in touch saying I'm this body shape or I am like this, and just be yourself, be authentic, and don't try to fit into a category.
I really like how, in a way, you sort of described yourself before you got into the industry, because if I had a stereotype about you, almost every time I speak to you, that stereotype gets broken, because you speak like somebody who reads a lot. You're quite a conversationalist. I don't know, would I be wrong with that stereotype? Do you have a couple of books you're currently going through?
So I'm a big advocate of therapy and self-help books, and my circle of friends talk about mental health a lot and checking in on each other and seeing, I'm going through a bad time, can I speak to you about it, or are you also going through a bad time? So kind of that emotional maturity, yeah, it's quite important and something to work on. And yeah, just kind of surrounded by that all the time. So
I see. I think that is one of the most important things you'd need, particularly in the industry you're in. So you have been stripping at, as you mentioned in your video, over 40 different clubs along the Yorkshire area in the UK. So you're kind of like a journey woman, and you've had all these different experiences, met all these characters. How did you maintain this mental fortitude that you have? You seem very whole and not easily triggered.
You should have seen me a month ago, but thank you. But yeah, it's a journey when it comes to mental health, but I'm really well right now, so thank you. Surrounding yourself with friends at work. I mean, we are very close, all of our dancers, and again, check in on each other, and we don't have cliques or anything. It's just having a good relationship at work, I think, is very, very important, and supporting each other. So it's not just my friends and family that I have that with. I kind of, people look at me as kind of the mum at work at times, especially when new 18-year-old dancers start, because when I started stripping, there was definitely still residue of that bitchiness.
Yeah.
Sorry. and we no longer have that, which is really, really lovely. So someone new starts, you welcome them, you support them. So yeah.
I really like that we've gone in this particular topic, because there's a strip club that I go to in Cape Town, South Africa. And within it, there are all types of characters, I'm sure, as you know, from the many places you've been to. And as much as the customers are extremely varied, the dancers are extremely, extremely varied. We've got, of course, your elite, super, always in VIP room, 5 hours with a customer, super, super elite dancers, been in the game for a while. You've got your veterans who've been a year or two, and then you've got your new talent trying it out. And there's just, it's almost like a Hofstede study of different types of trauma. Some are just built for the industry. They just love to make money. They love the lifestyle. And you have all these varied people, and you learn to get a read or a feel quite initially for who are the sharks, who are the gullible new ones, first one in the club, who are, there's a lot happening. And in your experiences of the 40 different places you've been to, who are some of the like standout, let's start with the ladies first, the standout strippers who just left an impact on you? You're like, wow, this is someone who is not your everyday person.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's a very good question. For some reason, the way the mind works, it takes me to the negative impact straight away. So when I did first start, I started with a friend of mine, and there was a dancer who was the shark. And looking back now, I just see that it was a person who wasn't very happy. Who kind of ended up having a negative effect on me, but then in the end a positive effect, because everything is a lesson and you kind of grow from it, I guess. But in regards to positive most, it is actually very difficult to single anyone out.
I suppose I can give you a few more hints. Maybe any interesting gift a customer ever gave you. You get those customers who or the types that I've seen. They're those who are just there for a dance. They're like your body, cool. They just want to dance, go. They stay maybe an hour maximum, get a dance and go. They're those who are looking to have a party, get drunk and get a dance. The third type just want to talk. They'll talk you to death and not do anything. And then there's the fourth type. And these ones are the ones who you're very highly likely to turn into a regular. They become obsessed with you. They are all about you. They only want to talk about you. They want to know about your tattoos, everything. And these particular customers that I've sort of seen as I watch, they're the ones who are going to just try surprise you with a gift you wouldn't have expected, or they'll draw a painting of you. And have you ever had customers like that? Those are usually the interesting stories.
Flowers. We've had a lot of flowers, which is very inconvenient, especially if you travel to and from work, to then kind of flowers and perfume has been and a lot of them that get obsessed with us would want to buy our underwear.
Oh, that's been a hot seller. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Oh wow. There was always a rumor on the internet that in Japan there was a vending machine that sold used underwear. It's only a rumor. I've lived in Japan a number of years. I've never found said machine. But apparently a strip club is the next best alternative. So who would have imagined?
I mean, when it comes to something that you're into, I feel like everything exists. So I've heard that rumor about the vending machine also, and yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Strip clubs are such a a safe space for all types of emotions and characters to come out. So it always comes usually if everyone is consensual, it comes out in a good way. In your video, you described how your best friend was a solicitor. please tell me just about that experience and how you've mentioned how friends support you. I'm sure she must have had quite an experience doing something like that.
Yeah, so I met my friend a while back, and we actually met dancing. So they identify as non-binary. So I'm going to use they pronouns. So when I met them, they used she, her pronouns, but now they identify as non-binary. So when we met, they told me that they work as a solicitor, which was very, very strange to me. And I was like, well, what are you doing here? And they said, I really love money. And they love what experiences money can provide them with, which was the whole point of the conversation. We're still very, very close. And I'm actually going to their art exhibition because they've become a photographer as well. Wow. I think that's another thing. So many dancers just have so many different facets and so many things that they're good at that you might not even think of. But yeah, that's definitely a very important friendship that came from work. And they no longer dance because they have so many responsibilities at work as a solicitor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That really sounds like quite an experience. I think you'd have to be very sexually liberated to, make the jump to go further and further. When you first started, would you describe yourself as quite shy, or were you straight in, or how was that experience for you?
I have never been shy. I'm from Ukraine originally. We were going to see my grandma when I was 3, and I walked up and down the entire train introducing myself to every single person with my full name. So shy was never me. Very often women do start dancing and they struggle with confidence, and it's definitely a job that helps you build that, because you are constantly complimented. You're surrounded by strong women who lift you up as well. So it was not that I needed any more confidence, but it definitely has given me more. And it's wonderful to see, especially young women starting dancing and they're shy, and watching them come out of their shell. It's quite special.
Wow. Could you give us any tips on how to make oneself more likable, but maybe still being genuine? I feel like you have that science down quite well, where I still feel like I'm talking to you. However, it's have you seen that meme of SpongeBob where he's all smoothed out and he's like, hi everyone. You seem very like you've got the science of being likable down.
I think ultimately, to be liked by others, you have to be liked by yourself. And if it is something that you struggle with, I guess fake it till you make it, because if you convince yourself, then other people will be convinced too. But just be happy in your own skin, or well, I mean, it's easy to say. It's work on being happy in your own skin, and if you like yourself, then it will carry.
I see. I was also just looking through your Instagram page. Everybody, please check her out on Miss Viktoria Quinn. And I see you curate your art very well. You seem artsy, so I see the tattoo. I see how on your Instagram page, no selfies, everything is polished and looks very professional. How did you get those particular skills, like to really make it look like a business page?
As a person, I'm very particular. Every item in my house, if it has been moved an inch, I will probably be able to tell. Yes, I'm just fond of order. And I think that's why it comes across on my Instagram, to kind of have it very clean. And yeah, as I mentioned before we started recording, that I am always full of ideas. My partner has started taking photos, so we kind of work quite well together because I am ideas and I'm like, oh, let's do this and this and this. And especially if we work with other people, he's able to take a step back and kind of pick something that has popped into my head and then kind of go with it. So yeah, never short of an idea, that's for sure.
That sounds like a perfect arrangement where they often say beauty needs a witness. So a photographer and somebody to take pictures of go so well together. It must have really taken a lot of, understanding and communication to be in adult entertainment and also manage a relationship. For any ladies out there who are maybe terrified of maintaining a relationship while working, how did you find the balance between both?
So if my partner, for example, was insert job here, I wouldn't see them any different. Personally, to me, this is work. This is something that makes me happy. It upsets me when women start on the path and then their partner tells them that they can't do something. If that's already a red flag for me in a relationship, because it's supposed to be a partnership. You're not there to tell one another what to do or what not to do. And if you are in a relationship and your partner is concerned, sit down, talk about it, and identify where that comes from, because probably it will be coming from the insecurity of the partner. And if you work through that and make them feel better about themselves, they wouldn't project their fears and jealousy onto you, and hopefully support you in your chosen career if sex work and stripping is what you want to get into.
Wow, that is a relationship on hard mode. You would need very high EQ to really always be aware of yourself and the person you're with. And I can see how your focus on therapy and mental health has really almost been a pillar that really keeps you very, very stable in what you do. And a common question on the internet that many ladies ask is, how do I find the right sort of work environment, the right club for myself? And I'm formerly an investment banker, and the things that you described, moving from different place, relate across so many industries. How did you find your winning club and the right fit for you?
It's actually down to my house mum, who I adore, and I have now worked for her for 5 years. If you're understood and supported, and I actually ended up taking a month off work just because my mental health wasn't great, and she's checked in on me, and so have my colleagues, which has been great. And finding a place where you feel like you're part of something instead of just a shark that comes in, bites off a chunk and goes home. For me personally, it's important. I understand that different people work in different ways, and maybe they don't want to get involved with any dancers or any of the members of staff, and that's absolutely fine. But personally, because I'm a very, I feel, I mean, we all do, and I want to feel supported, and I want to know that if I need someone at work, or I fall, it's not just my colleagues, they're my friends that are there to pick me up.
You really said so many important things that come with maturity, and realizing what you need, I think, is what really keeps you very stable. And it's so interesting that you said that, because often men, as you go through the hero's journey and you have to accept yourself as a human being, and realizing that you need to feel support, you need to show love and feel love, is often something a lot of people live in denial about. And then they get very crippling anxiety about it and go down, the loser path, as I like to call it. And where did all this maturity come from? Please give us some book recommendations, or whose stuff are you reading? Please save us.
A book that I absolutely adore, which is called "You Are a Badass" by Sincero, who was in a band called Crotch, and very feminist, and it's very, very good book. Highly recommend it, so that I don't give everything away. And working on yourself. I mean, I think it's been 3 years now that I think a lot about mental health. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's you have to self-improve and to be strong to handle the world and handle the sex industry as well. And when you go to work every night as a dancer, you don't know who you're going to come across. So kind of being grounded and loving yourself is very, very important, because there's always someone that could knock you down.
Always. Thank you very much for that book recommendation. I think sometimes the most important thing that can happen to you within a year can be one thing mentioned within a conversation, and that can change your entire life. So definitely do check out this book, You Are a Badass. I feel there might be some amazing gems in there. Please tell me, as I described you as a journey woman going through 40 different clubs, did you in yourself notice a change after each run with a club? Did you as you level up like a video game character? Were you feeling something like that?
It's not necessarily a worse or better clubs. Okay. I wouldn't say, like, in general, I'm not a big fan of ranking things like that.
Okay.
I guess you take something away from each one because you learn something new. Okay. Most of the time, things. So my house mum actually refers to me as manager's worst nightmare because I identify what's wrong, and especially as a self-employed person, management doesn't want to hear that. So yeah, that's something that I've learned, and in regards to the leveling up, when to keep my mouth shut, because I'm self-employed. I like my voice, not that it doesn't matter, but I am not someone who is there to give advice on how to run a club. So that has definitely been a very good thing to learn. And I guess for dancers going forward, it's, don't give your opinion unless asked for, and especially when it comes to how to run a strip club, because as much as I've worked in many of them, I am not a manager.
Oh, wow. That is some serious life advice. And in investment banking, I can tell you it is exactly the same. And you have to ask yourself sometimes, are you here to win arguments or make money? And I was often in the win argument side of things, and it's not good for making money. I find deep down people want to find agreement. And once you learn that particular skill, as you mentioned, it's going to open up so many more doors for you. And there really is a finesse to life. And I think a strip club is one of the most blatant examples of how having some charm and some finesse will get you so much more than being argumentative and being stuck in a bad narrative with what's going on.
Absolutely.
I am very curious about now your work with Joy Bear, and this could even be a completely different, podcast, but I do have to touch on it. So Joy Bear Adult Entertainment, how did you now make that transition? When did you feel ready to take on something like that?
So I also did some webcam work. And what else have I done? I've done a couple of domination sessions, so kind of dipped my toe all over the place when it comes to sex work.
That sounds interesting.
During lockdown, I spent 2 years in a house.
Wow.
And there was a lot of tidying, and I came across a form that we had to fill in for our yearbook in year 11 when I was at school. And the question, what do you want to do when you grow up? I wrote rock star or porn star.
Oh, wow.
When I was 16. So
dream come true. Now we just need rock music. And yeah, dream come true.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of research. I've got friends who were in porn already and wanted to find ethical porn companies and applied to two. And one of them was Erica Lust, and I had an interview and I'm on their books, but they're based in Barcelona. So with COVID and now that UK's not in the EU, the travel logistics are a bit of a pain. So I'm not waiting to hear just yet, but I have now done 3 shoots with Joy Bear, and my first shoot was one of the best experiences I've ever had, and not just in regards to work, just
really
in general. And yeah, it was magical. And for 3 days after, I was speaking back and forth with the other performers, and we were like, oh, the after work low is a real thing, because it was such an incredible day to kind of miss it. Started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and because I had to do the voiceover, and there's because they kind of do a whole story and then film different. It's as a company, do check them out. They're incredible, and that's where I watch my porn as well.
Joy Bear.
Joy Bear, yeah. Wow. Just the way everyone's treated is incredible, and it's a team of 10 people who have worked together for 10 years. Makeup, hair, producer, and just I can't sing enough praise to the company itself.
I find most businesses that do well have a very keen understanding for how they make people feel. And in what you described, you didn't say money once. You didn't say it was quick, I was in and out and I made a lot of money. A key theme that you described as how they made you feel. And you tend to get the best out of people based on how you make them feel. And if anyone takes, anything useful from, I think this particular podcast is the EQ mental health back and back again. Within this first shoot, how did you now find, how were you able to make it sensual and artsy as you described? Because we as you said earlier, you're a very artsy person, creative engines are firing. How did you now translate to a new medium? Now you're like, all right, I'm on camera, got to make it sexy. How did you do that?
The energy bit. So I worked, it was a threesome that we shot. So it was,
oh boy,
the other actor whose name is Marcus. He was
Mr. Marcus. Oh, yeah, I had to say that. Mr. Marcus.
Reference.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Mr. Marcus was quite popular for a while, and a thing about it is when he shoots, he normally wears a cap low. So my friends and I had an inside joke where wherever we wear our cap low, we just start calling each other Mr. Marcus. Mr. Marcus. Hey, it's Mr. Marcus. Yeah. He's quite a character though. He's quite a character.
So yes, I was shooting with Marcus and Loveday, and Loveday I actually met dancing in Whiskey Down.
Oh, wow.
So I was already going in with someone that I knew, and we just, again, it's down to the feeling. We supported each other. We were like, do you want a glass of water? Do you want this? Is this okay? Is that okay? And it's checking in on each other and just getting each other comfortable. And you can't ask, are you okay, too many times.
It's a subtlety.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I actually used to be an accountant, so
Oh,
I was
wow.
due to start my chartered, and realized that if I'm getting up in the morning and crying because I have to go to work, it's not a good fit. So I quit.
It's probably why I
Um,
keep mentioning investment banking. You give me that energy. I was like, she reminds me of, yeah, the things that place a certain way. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
I keep interrupting, please.
oh no, it's okay.
Mm.
So I've done finance, I've done HR, and I'm multilingual. So
Oh, wow.
I worked as an interpreter and a translator as well.
Oh, wow.
And again, all those things were fine.
Mm.
But we spend most of our time at work.
Okay.
So we have to love what we
Mm.
do. We have to love the job that we do.
Mm.
And money comes and goes, and obviously we require it to
Oh,
live,
wow.
but it's not what drives me.
Mm.
The experiences and the connections and the people that I work with
Mm.
is the priority for me, because I've been at the other end of it where I am miserable
Oh, my goodness.
when I have an office job. So
Mm.
yeah, it's the feel.
Oh, wow. And I'm like so full of like dirty accounting jokes. So yeah, I'll have to throw a few in as we keep going. Is an orgasm and asset reliability. Oh, how is it? I'll stop. I'll stop there. Moving on, though, as you described, we have very varied characters. You mentioned at a strip club. You mentioned in your video there are teachers, nurses, solicitors, and it all channels into just basic, human interaction and how you make people feel. And now, being Ukrainian, and most of the clubs I've researched, I've seen on the internet, Russians, Ukrainians, Eastern Europeans really are quite popular in clubs. Why do you think are some of the reasons for that? With all these varied people, why are Russians, Ukrainians, Eastern Europeans really standing out?
So in the UK, that's we don't actually have. I am the only Eastern
Mm.
European, I believe so. Oh no, there's a lady from
Mm.
Hungary.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess so. There is, maybe it's again down to the whole myth thing of Ukrainian bride, like Russian brides, and
Mm.
like all blonde and big boobs, kind of
Mm.
what people maybe
Mm.
expect when they
Mm.
go to the club.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure.
Mm. I have a couple of theories, but again, it might all be
Okay.
pseudoscience. We don't really know. So I compare it to often how so myself being in South Africa, we sometimes encounter people from Kenya, Ethiopia, and they are incredible runners. And I asked a Kenyan guy, why are so many Kenyans such incredible long distance runners? What are you doing that the rest of us are not doing? And he really broke down the science of why to me. So he mentioned not all Kenyans, but there's a very select group of Kenyan people who have just over time been in an environment that promotes running. So they run to get everywhere. It's also the region where coffee was discovered. So you've got a lot of high energy people, you've got coffee, and just over time, they're in an environment, already a natural environment, where those skills are crucial. So I've never been to, Eastern Europe, but I just have a feeling that having this strong connection to your femininity, your sensuality, being able to dance is an amazing expression for that sort of thing. I suspect, I'm not sure, again, it might all be pseudoscience. If we have anyone with the knowledge, please do tell us. But I somehow think that over time, there's a genetic ability, a natural ability to do certain things well, and certain groups of people will just excel at certain things. West Africans will make incredible basketball players. I mean, it is what it is. Most of the NBA is kind of like that. So I believe that may be one of the reasons. And I think, speaking to you, I've met a few other Ukrainians in South Africa as well. All their telltale signs. You know how to speak man. So that's also a big one. And just knowing how to have that eye to present yourself a certain way and know others' feelings. I think there's something clearly going on. Ukraine, Russia, lot of femininity, but who knows? Who knows? in your like a night shift at Whiskey Down, for you to get through the entire night, do you drink? Do you not drink? Are you one of those water only? What is your
so I do drink.
Okay.
There are colleagues of mine who don't.
Okay.
Quite a lot of women will drive to work, so obviously
Okay.
they won't have a drink because they have to drive back.
Mm.
I will definitely drink.
Okay.
Sometimes we do shots,
Okay.
and I drink gin and tonic and whiskey.
You must be blessed genetically, because you are making some of the most dangerous mistakes with alcohol, mixing drinks at work, and I'm sure customers are constantly buying you drinks. How did you make it this long? Usually the elite dancers is water only. They're just
Well,
dancers.
maybe this goes back to the whole being Ukrainian and genetics thing.
Possibly. It may just be that. In that time, when did you find your stride? I'm sure with your career, you reach a point where you crack the code and things start clicking. When did you really find your stride with stripping?
Not that long ago, to be honest.
Okay.
So I started dancing, then I had a break of my dark years in finance. And then restarting dancing, I was excited yet felt brand new.
Okay.
And with a lot of experience of the other world, working in finance and HR. So I guess when finding myself,
I see.
that's when I found my stripper self as
Okay.
well, because you need to play up to your strengths. You need to
Okay.
have the conversations with the people that you feel you will connect with. Because, for example, someone will come in and want to talk to me about football, and I'm not one to do that because I have zero knowledge when it comes to sport. But I would have conversations about politics or people's kinks, and I've had people come out to me.
Were Conversations your money maker? Usually, each particular
Yes,
stripper has got a killer
absolutely.
skill. Some are kill the stage show, others is the talking, some just have a very sensual touch, others are, so you were a conversationalist, I see.
But it's because I enjoy it as well. Kind of like, as I started saying, I had customers come out to me as bi, and they've never told their wives that they have feelings for men, and I would go home feeling incredible that just for a moment someone felt like they were heard and they could share such important and private information with me. I mean, I'm a great dancer. I wouldn't have done this job if I wasn't.
We see the pics on Instagram, you in the hoop. Oh, we do see.
But for me, it is those connections. It's being, well, not the therapist. I am not qualified, but just being someone who is listening to a person who feels like maybe at home their wives or their friends don't.
Wow. How, again, did you now stop it from becoming a therapy session and go into, okay, I hear you, I understand you, I see how you're feeling, let's get a dance? How did you?
Now for the boobs.
Okay.
So when I am on those conversations, quite often people would then understand that I am still at work, and then we would go to the IP, but not necessarily to dance, just to sit and talk, because yeah, it's so much more than just tits and ass.
Okay. I see. I see. Do you ever have like a mental checklist of the way a conversation should go? Of all right, chat for 5 minutes, introduction, cool. Move on to the next thing. Maybe I'm sure the accounting and knowing how to get tasks done. Is there like a checklist for your conversations?
So I mean, I've had spreadsheets to try to figure out when to work where, and I've tried different tactics. And again, it's down to feeling the other person and identifying what they're about and what their needs are, because you might have a checklist in your head and they've had a terrible day and they need an extra 5 minutes to kind of talk to you. It's again down to your emotional maturity to figure out what they need, as much as, you know, you might want to go and earn money. I mean, that's what we're ultimately all there for, but you increase your chances of doing so by providing the person with what they're there for, which might not just be a quick 3-minute dance.
Wow. Yeah, I think you've definitely touched on that so well, and that sometimes some customers will only get their dance maybe at the end of the week. So they'll speak to you on a Monday, and then Friday they're still on your mind, and they come back like, oh, I actually need that dance. I almost forgot it. So you really have to be a master of that chess game. Wow. Do you have an exit plan for what you're going to do next after this run with stripping?
Yeah, I've been having this conversation lately, actually, because I am self-employed and I owe nothing to no one. Obviously we sign contracts, but that's more for health and safety reasons. And I feel like my bag of tricks is full. So I haven't necessarily reached in and picked out what I'm going to go for next. But I always have languages. I mean, it's whatever's going to be the right thing to make me happy. And even if that is, I don't know, becoming a cleaner. After trying to climb the ladder in finance, I am done with being uncomfortable. And I'm done with being unhappy when it comes to work. So as it stands now, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I've talked to friends about writing a book or doing a documentary on sex work. So again, I'm always full of ideas.
I can totally see all those things happening for you. You are definitely a good teacher in the very deep understanding you have of
very nice
understanding the feelings. Oh no, definitely, it is. You exude it. Maybe it's because you're so close to it, you can't really see it, but just as long as you always keep it on your mind and never feel bogged down. Not to sound like one of those new age hippies. Oh, the universe will find a way. No, you definitely have to be aware of it and walk the path for yourself. But I think you could definitely make some very interesting documentary work. And the one YouTube video you've done is already doing quite well. So it all is a matter of time. My last question, though, in terms of fitness and just maintaining your body with dancing, how has that experience been? I'm sure you got really in shape. And
so again, because I'm a talker, sometimes there's not actually that much dancing happening. Definitely have strong thighs. So in United Kingdom, there's actually no touching by law in lap dances, so you kind of have to hover. So very, very strong thighs. But apart from actual work, I yoga and I do aerial hoop and aerial silks and go to pole dancing classes. But that's more for fun and things that bring me joy.
Oh wow, that already sounds like such a varied skill set that you could do some very amazing things with. I want to thank you so much for joining the podcast and sharing so many little gems in the journey that you've had with dance. We really are hoping that you will make more YouTube videos eventually of all the amazing things you can do, the languages, the aerial hoop, the mental health, the dance. You are clearly a treasure trove, a cornucopia of information. But I think people have to like ask you. Yeah, you don't give it out. People have to come to you and ask you. How can people contact you to any ladies interested in getting into stripping or that sort of work? How can they contact you? Do you do consultations for a fee? What is how can we get more of you?
I've actually had a lot of women reach out to me when it comes to stripping, asking questions. There's no fee whatsoever. Again, back to the whole community supporting each other. Okay. So find me on Instagram, and it's miss.victoria.quinn, and Victoria's with a K. I have started a profile for my cat, so do follow that as well. Because
before it gets taken down.
Yeah, that's my point. This is a brand new Instagram because my last account got taken down with no explanation. I don't post anything on it that could have done it, but anyway, yes, do follow my cat just in case I get taken down. But yeah, if anyone has any questions in regards to camming, strip clubs, porn, hit me up. I'm always happy to help anyone out.
Yeah, it may be a conversation that could change your life. And on that note, a big thank you. More content and more guests coming soon on this TuxedoCast.